Boris Johnson says the price of freedom is one worth paying, as he joined other world leaders in offering continued support to Ukraine. Speaking from the G7 summit in Germany, the Prime Minister argued that letting Russia get away with invading Ukraine would be, quote, chilling for the consequences and, of course, lead to instability as well. Now, Johnson has previously criticised the UN's suggested response to the Russian blockade of seaports as being insufficient, warning that Putin's actions could cause an international famine due to shortages of critical crops such as grain. Here's what he's had to say this very morning.
The logic of the position is still so clear. There is no deal that the President Zelensky can really do. So in those circumstances, the G7 supporters of Ukraine around the world have to continue to help the Ukrainians to rebuild their economy, to get their grain out, to export their grain. And of course, we have to help them to protect themselves. And that's what we're going to continue to do.
Yeah, Boris Johnson there. And our reporter Paul Hawkins joins me again. We've gone for the hat-trick today, Paul. We had you this morning on my show for To The Point, an hour ago, and now I've got you again. Fantastic stuff. You're, of course, in Garmisch covering the G7 summit. And there's a lot to get stuck into, isn't there, really, here? Because the world leaders really uniting and standing up against Vladimir Putin, it would seem.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, they're united. That's what Boris Johnson and Joe Biden have called for in dealing with the Ukraine-Russia conflict, continuing to back Ukraine, and that's what's happened. We heard from Volodymyr Zelensky earlier. He was calling for anti-aircraft defence systems, heavy weaponry, more sanctions against Russia. He wants more aid with reconstruction inside Ukraine. And on the whole, it looks like he is going to get that. The key question is, right, how long this war goes on for. Now, he says he wants it over by the winter. If you give me what I need to fight the Russians, you know, then I'm hoping it'll be over by the winter. The key bit from the G7 statement, I'm paraphrasing, but effectively they were saying, look, we're going to give Russia what it wants, we're united. We're going to give Ukraine, what it wants, we're united behind Ukraine. But the key phrase was, we're staying the course. But how long are they going to stay the course for? If this war rumbles into the winter, carries on into next year, continues to feed price rises around the world, how long is that unity going to hold? We've got the G20 coming up in November. That tends to be more economically focused. Very interestingly today, Germany and the EU have not ruled out staying away from that summit, given Indonesia, the hosts, have invited Vladimir Putin to sit around the table and Volodymyr Zelensky. So we could have both of them at the table. Where do countries like the G7, where do organisations like the EU sit on that? At the moment, they're not ruling out staying away from that. And Olaf Scholz, the German Chancellor, saying that he's going to make a decision on that nearer the time. But that would be very interesting optics to see Vladimir Putin around the table at the G20 in November. Who else is going to be sitting at that table? We know countries like Brazil, we know countries like India and Indonesia who are here at the as an invitation to the G7. We know that they are going to be there. They've been very neutral politically on this at the UN when they voted against Russia, or they've introduced measures criticising Russia. Those countries have remained neutral, so we know they're going to be there. Whether people like the UK, the US, Germany, the EU are going to be there at the G20 in November, that's very interesting. But yeah, lots to get stuck into, and pivotal to all of it is that conflict in Ukraine at the moment.